Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Rain just around the corner, but we're looking at snow as we head into the upcoming weekend, and we will see accumulation. We'll tell you how much coming up.
With heightened security for Sunday's protest at the state capitol, some surprisingly groups are deciding to stay away. All coming up, but first, President-elect Joe Biden unveiling a nearly $2 trillion COVID relief package tonight.
That plan includes $1,400 direct payments to most Americans, as well as money to launch a national vaccination program.
This gets money quickly into the pockets of millions of Americans who will spend it immediately on food and rent and other basic needs.
President-elect Joe Biden outlining his American Rescue Plan Thursday. Biden proposing to send $1,400 in direct payments to eligible Americans. This money would be in addition to the $600 payments sent out earlier this month.
We need to turn it into legislation to conquer the pandemic and to revive the economy.
The legislative package includes an increase and extension of unemployment benefits and more funding for small businesses. With more than 388,000 now dead from coronavirus in the U.S., and at a time when officials across the country are complaining about the federal vaccination model.
Absolutely not gone with the federal model. But the bottom line is just this, and it's as simple as mud. If you can get shots in arms, you're going to save lives.
The incoming Biden administration wants to invest $20 billion in a national vaccination program, launching community vaccination centers and mobile units to reach hard-to-access areas. Additionally, the president-elect wants to invest $50 billion in testing.
We'll have a president in just a little under a week that will prioritize both of these. This is the key to getting out of this because testing still matters.
And President-elect Biden has said he wants the relief bill on his desk by the end of the month, but ultimately that will depend on Congress.
Tonight, the Southeast Michigan Volunteer Militia is telling its members to stay away from the Capitol on Sunday.
That is a group that hasn't shied away from any previous protests at the Capitol in the past year. Jason Colthorpe spoke to one of their team leaders tonight to find out why. Jason?
Well, Sandra, they've done their homework. They've reached out to police. They've got a kind of an idea of what the situation with all the security measures are going to be at the Capitol. And they feel that it's going to be difficult for people to extricate themselves from that situation if violence breaks out. And they just feel it's not worth it. The state police are not taking any chances with Sunday's planned armed protest at the state capitol. In addition to a 6-foot chain link fence going up around the building, National Guard troops will be deployed. If the goal was to create a scene that says stay away, well, it might be working.
Nobody can guarantee exactly what other groups are going to be doing and what are their intentions.
Michael and Wendy Lockamore are part of the Southeast Michigan Volunteer Militia. And Michael, who's a team leader, knows people hear militia and they automatically make assumptions.
The biggest misconception is that we're perpetually angry, that we want to topple the government, that we are not anti-government. We're anti-unconstitutional government.
Their group has protested in Lansing several times over the last 11 months against the governor's pandemic orders with signs, bullhorns, flags, and guns. Guns they carried inside the Capitol last April. They were planning to be there again Sunday, but today changed course.
While there is not a specific threat in Lansing this weekend, there is heightened chatter of potential for various groups to show up to instigate problems.
They're not sure if some members of their militia will still go, but the Lockamores think Sunday might end up being calmer than expected.
The people that want to come in and cause issues, hopefully they'll be turned off by the robust security measures that are in place.
He thinks there's a chance just a couple dozen people might end up showing up on Sunday, which of course would be good news. Now, the Episcopal News Service is reporting that the Episcopal Church right across the street from the Capitol is asking its parishioners to also not engage, not show up and counter protest. They think that situation has just not a good idea either. Back to you.
Yeah, and Jason, do we know, did any of the members of this militia go to Washington on the 6th?
They did not. And as they explained it to me, they were disappointed when they saw the violence that broke out at the U.S. Capitol. But in their words, they understood why it happened.
All right. Thank you, Jason.
New tonight, a Downriver teenager missing since November has been found safe.
15-year-old Gloria Alvarado vanished from her family's home in Taylor. Taylor police confirming tonight she is back home, and they also say she was never in any danger.
The disaster in Flint started in April of 2014. Nearly 7 years later, new charges have been brought against the top level of Michigan's government, including former Governor Rick Snyder. Mara McDonald live downtown. Mara, a lot of charges, over 40 filed, but most of the talk today has been about the Snyder charges, which are 2 misdemeanors.
That's right, Devin. 2 misdemeanors for willful neglect of duty. And when we were in Flint today and talking to people, when they heard that they were misdemeanor charges, they really weren't too impressed. But I think the bigger question tonight is whether these 2 misdemeanors will actually end up being convictions, because this is a rather high hill to climb. The final tally, 41 charges against 9 state and city officials. Snyder may be the most high profile, but he was charged with the least compared to the other 8.
When an entire city is victimized by the negligence and indifference of those in power, it deserves an uncompromising investigation.
Here's who is really facing serious multiple felonies. Nick Lyon, former director of the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, 9 felony counts of involuntary manslaughter and 2 other misdemeanors. Lyon isn't in trouble for Flint's lead problems, but how the state handled a Legionnaire's outbreak in Flint, which may be tied to the water switch. Dr. Eden Wells, the former state chief medical executive, 9 felony counts of involuntary manslaughter, also connected to Legionnaires, plus 2 felony counts of misconduct in public office and an additional misdemeanor. Rich Baird, one of the governor's dearest friends who acted as his so-called transformation manager. He's facing felonies including extortion for how prosecutors say he tried to manage the Flint crisis once it hit. He's also facing felony misconduct in public office, perjury, and obstruction of justice.
Pure and simple, this case is about justice, truth, accountability, poisoned children, lost lives, shattered families that are still not whole, and simply giving a damn about all of humanity.
The rest of those charged include 2 Flint emergency managers, the former Flint DPW director, the governor's communications director, and a current MDHHS manager. Back here live, this is the second attempt at criminal prosecution by a second AG, now going on 7 years. And clearly, government at every level, whether it was city, county, state, or federal, failed the people of Flint. But so far, criminal convictions have proved to be elusive. We're live downtown tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
And so many of them here to watch as the governor will be back in court early this next week. All right, Mara.
After back-to-back days in the 40s, it looks like we've got some rain and some snow, too, in the forecast.
And in fact, Ben, I guess some areas could even see some rain tonight.
Yeah, we've got showers already showing up in West Michigan on Storm Tracker 4, guys, but it's tomorrow morning's commute when most of that stuff will get here. So leave yourself some extra time, even though we do expect this to be all liquid for the drive. There you see it. It's mostly west of 69 there. Coldwater getting some of those showers also into Grand Rapids. But as we go through tomorrow morning, again, we're looking at those shower chances, and we'll back up and show you exactly how we expect this to go. The rest of tonight is generally going to be dry with cloudy skies. And then once we head into tomorrow morning, that's when the rain arrives. It does transition to snow around midday, mostly for the west and north zones. And then a lot of us will start seeing those flakes as we get into the second half of Friday, but especially in areas north of 8 Mile. Finally gives us a little bit of a break, our first break, as we get into late Friday evening, so about 24 hours from now. As far as temperatures go, they're not going to move all that much. Mid to upper 30s tomorrow is what we can expect. Again, that rain in the morning, snow in the afternoon, and still some impacts over the weekend, especially on Sunday. We'll talk about how much snow we're expecting overall and whether we're getting the shovels out in just a few minutes. Guys?
All right, Ben. State is reporting nearly 2,700 new cases of the coronavirus in the past day, with another 139 deaths.
With cases on the rise across the country, the CDC now projecting an additional 92,000 Americans will die from the virus in the next 3 weeks. The vaccine distribution ramping up. The city of Detroit expanding access to vaccinations at the TCF Center. Now anyone age 70 and older can schedule an appointment. It used to be 75 and older. Post office employees are now also eligible.
You are 70 years or older, you can call right now, book your appointment. We're now booking into the latter part of next week, and while Good Neighbor program stays in effect. So if you're 65 or over and you take a 70-year-old neighbor with you, you can get your shot too.
Now, if you're eligible, you can book your appointment at the TCF Center by calling the number right there on your screen. It's 313-230-0505. Tonight, Detroit police are looking for two missing children. Their siblings, 10-year-old Richard Richardson and 9-year-old Raven George. They were last seen right around 1 in the afternoon near West McNichols and Hubble. Police say they were seen walking away from that area. If you have any information at all, call Detroit police. Still ahead, the Red Wings finally back.
It's been more than 300 days since we've heard Karen Newman sing the national anthem. Bernie has highlights of tonight's season opener just ahead in sports.
Saw some bruise on the side of his eye.
A waitress now being credited with saving a boy's life, how she got him help and away from his abusive parents.
But first, two former Beaumont Hospital workers accused of running a scheme selling stolen medical equipment. How much money they made before it was exposed, next.